Hello and welcome back, ladies and gentlemen. So let's continue here. We have the information that we want. We just need to compare the two here. So all I'm going to do here is change this to let me just say correct is equal to, and let me remove one of those there, and answer maybe is equal to, let's say student answer is equal to that. And finally we just need to do an if statement. So I'm just going to say if correct is equal to, so we use those two, student answer. Okay, so if correct is equal to student answer, it means this answer is correct, obviously. Else it's supposed to be answer is wrong. So in both cases we have to save a record. So in order to save a record, let's use the tests model and let's say update. Oh, wait a minute. To update, when reading we can use any model, but when updating we have to use the correct one, which is the one that is responsible for the answers table, right? So let's see if we have a model for the answers. Answered tests. Is that the correct? No. We need one that reads from the answers model. That's the answers model, reads answers. Very good. So answers model, that's what we need to use. So let me see here if I already created an instance of it, and judging by things here it seems no. So let's create an instance of it. Where are we? Okay. So let's create an instance right here. Now it's very tempting to put the instance here. I can do something like answers model. Answers model is equal to new answers model. Now let me try and find this. So there are three matches, so which means it is somewhere. And where is this? Answers is equal to new answers. This is mark test. Okay, so answers model is right here. Answers. Let's scroll down. Okay, so no need to create it here. We already have it. Now what I wanted to explain here is that it's very tempting to create an instance here, but keep in mind that this is inside a loop. So if you put this inside a loop, you could really stress your memory, the memory of the server. So it's not a good idea to put these declarations inside a for each loop. Anything that doesn't need to be in a for each loop, just put it outside, because otherwise every time it goes through the loop it's going to create a new instance of this model, which will overload your memory, and you don't want that. So never declare classes inside a loop. Always declare them outside, because you just need one instance most of the time. So anyway, since we already do have the instance, we're just going to use it and say update like that. So what exactly are we updating? So we're updating the column. So we have to provide columns that we're updating. First of all, we must provide the ID. So the ID comes from the answer row, right? So select ID answer from answers. So this ID from this. So right here we'll put that and say ID, but keep in mind that when we got the answer row, it was how you say, it's an array of an array. So also we have to make sure that we did get something valid from here before we attempt any of this. So I'm just going to say if answer row like that, and then duplicate that and open it here like this and move that inward. And then to avoid doing things like this, I'm just going to copy that and put it here like that. And then we just say answer row is equal to the first item there, right? So because we know if it's not an array, it's going to be false. There are only two answers here, either it's false or it's an array. So if it is an array, it definitely has at least one item. So then we can remove this here. That way we can use the answer row directly like that. And so that's the ID. And then here we're supposed to give an array of items to update. So the first thing I want to update is the mark, and this is the answer mark. So I'll say answer underscore mark and put the arrow for the value. And what are we answering here? If this is correct, then the answer is 1. So let's copy everything here and put it down here. Here it's wrong, so we put a 2. That's it. And then once we are done, after the for each loop, after the automark thing, let's just click there, and this is the final end, and we redirect to same page. So the reason we're redirecting is we just want to get rid of the get variable automark here, because if we don't do that, it will keep marking every time we refresh the page, which may mess with what we are doing, because if the teacher decides to edit one of the automarked answers, then it will be replaced again, which is not good. So we use this redirect and just get whatever this is to compare with the page number, and we are good to go. So down here, right here where it says redirect, that's what we will do. This will work because the ID is set at the top, user ID at the top, and page number as well. Okay, so let's give it a shot and see what happens. So at this point, I've clicked automark and I'm waiting for it to refresh. So let me refresh the page. All right, so it seems it has marked. And as you can see, it has marked 80% of the test, which is a time saver for the teacher. So as you can see here, it says that's correct. B is correct, 5 times 6 is 30. Here it says this is correct. And here correct is no. Let's go to the next page. We'll find that as well. There is a mark. Is the sun a star? Yes, that's correct. But this one has not been marked because here the teacher needs to actually do the marking themselves. Now also the teacher can edit even these that were auto marked if they need to, and if you save the marks, it's going to save that mark. However, if I click auto mark again, it will return it back to how it was after the auto mark thingy. So keep that in mind. And finally, we can select and mark correctly. So if I'm done here and go to mark, you see that it shows me this is 80% marked, which is great. This one is 0% marked. So the teacher can go step by step and mark the ones that he wants like that. All right, so hopefully that gave you some much needed insight into how to do this. And if we do rain cycle, explain the rain cycle, if I say this is wrong and save the marks, it will tell me I have marked 100% and this is the wrong, one of these is wrong. And then if I now say set as marked, it's going to show the actual percentage that this student has gotten. So let's try that. Set as marked, yes. And there we go. So the student has got 80% of the mark. Okay, very good. What we need after this is to change how things work on tests here to read better this tests thing. And then we need a notification here that shows the student, if this is a student, to show them how many tests they haven't taken yet but are eligible to take. And for teachers, we don't really need to know the answered percentage because this will always be 0 for a teacher since they are not the ones taking the tests. I'll see you in the next video where we do those things.